Good morning, Steve.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, you did it.
Yeah.
We're
Good
on a
morning,
clean
everybody.
start to the video.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Huddle.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. Good morning.
Fired up this morning because we've got a great topic.
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's I think 2022 is turning out to be the year for off-market deals. So I thought what we would do is talk about how we can help our agents generate more deals, more transactions for their buyers, and what is shaping up to be a challenging year for them again. Like I think it's going to be a repeat of 21, where multiple offers and such. But I think we have a couple good strategies that might help them secure their own deals and generate their own off markets with their buyers. So that's what I'm looking forward to talking about that today.
When you say challenging, I hear opportunity.
Well, there you go. I like that. That's yeah.
There's a lot of agents out there who have been writing this market, but they're not that skilled. They don't have the tools that Compass has. They don't have the volume that our agents have. And I think they're going to have a really hard time in this market, which means more for us.
Yeah. And it's funny when I love when you say you hear opportunity, because I think so often when we talk about the subject of lead generation, or this topic of how am I going to try to manufacture or engineer a transaction, I think there's still a lot of agents that feel like what we do in real estate is we do things to people, not for them. So, for example, you talk about opportunity. When was the last time, anyone on the call, I'd like you to chime in. You're just in a chat box or come on screen. When was the last time, like, your insurance agent gave you a ring and said, "Hey, Sean, I've got this idea that can save you money." Or your attorney weighed in with you and said, "Hey, I've got this idea." Your tax advisor, "Sean, I was thinking about you this morning, and I was thinking about last year, and it dawned on me that if we position you this way, we could save you money or create, whatever." When was the last time any of us who trust these types of folks have had that phone call? I'll wait. And yet, how would that feel if you reached out to someone and did something for them, not to them, that would benefit them in real estate, personally? You know how many times, and I know this happens to you, and it happens to every single one of us on this call. We're out walking the dog and we think about, you might be thinking about Lisa, right? And Valentine's Day is coming up. You think, God, I'd really like to do something special. I was talking to John Rice about this. I don't know if he's on the screen or not, but I was talking about gifts. He said, do something that creates an experience for someone. Don't just buy a gift. I vote for creating an experience. Giving me that advice, something I could do for someone. And we think about it all the time, but few of us, sometimes we just don't act out, or we run out of it. We put it on the back burner and we just don't get to it. And
I think it starts with, and what you were saying, these aren't sales calls, they're service calls.
Yeah.
You have to think of yourself as the problem solver who stays in touch with people to see. And a lot of times we solve small problems that aren't real estate related. We're the go-to resource. And then every now and then they have a real estate problem for us to solve. And we're the ones calling them and helping them see it, sometimes before they realize that it's going to become a pain point. It's a service call.
Right. So let's talk about, we're working with a buyer, Sean, and we've presented multiple offers, and we're striking out. Like we're 0 for 3, let's say. Written several offers, we're 0 for 3. What I'd like to talk about is this concept of circle marketing. So, do you know what that? I don't know. You and I haven't really prepped much for this, but you understand the concept of circle marketing, right?
I think so. I refer to it as circle prospecting. It's all the same thing. Circle around a list. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. You drop a pin around the whatever the product is that you're. In this case, it's a service and it's a home that we offer to the community, and we circle around that. Like, so let's say like a 1 mile radius, a half-mile radius, what have you. And we intentionally target the folks that are within that community that we can influence. So you have an offer you've submitted. It hasn't been accepted. Here's an idea. Idea number 1, tip number 1 is to notify the surrounding homes. Let's say you went into it, you were shown a plan 3 in Aviara, just picking a community, right? A plan 3. Wouldn't it be great if you targeted plan 3s in the community? Because you know that's what your buyer likes. They put an offer. They told you they love that floor plan. Why wouldn't you target every plan 3 that you could get within a mile of that home with a simple letter that says, I'm representing the DiGiovannis. They're moving here from Seattle. They put an offer on your neighbor's home over at 123 Happy Hollow, and we couldn't get that offer accepted. They are ready to go and love your floor plan. If you are interested, that's it. Not if you were thinking of selling, none of that. If you're interested, please, here's my contact information. Just if you're interested in selling, or but that's it. No pitch, nothing. No, these form letters that everyone thinks is fake. If you can
Simple.
make it that simple, there's an
With a
opportunity.
call to action. Always with a call to action.
Create your own off-market deal.
So here's where we have different terms saying the same thing. I would call that leveraging a buyer. We can leverage our buyers to get more listings.
Mm-hmm.
You're waiting to hear. I agree with you. I think we don't think of this enough, but if you have a buyer who you're waiting to hear, or let's say that they got turned down, there was 8 other offers and another one went. So you have a clean buyer ready to go. First thing I would do is call all the pendings nearby. Hey, I've got a buyer for a home. What is it, Model 3? What's the status with yours? Does it look good? Is it going to close? Are there hiccups? Because my buyer would be interested in that. Let your past clients know. Post a video. Door knock, like you're saying. Door knock around that home and say, I've got a buyer. The nice thing with door knocking, have the actual offer they wrote in your hand. There's a visual proof when you're standing at the doorstep saying, I have a buyer. They wrote a great offer, but they lost out to an all cash X, Y, and Z. Are you of any interest in something? Go right into the script you just used.
And if you want to make it double down, make it more powerful, combine that with an unsolicited CMA. So now they're looking at, oh my God, my home's worth this much. I mean, I pay attention to my neighborhood. I think most people do, but there are folks that don't, and they just get on with their lives. And you show them right now what the market trends are in terms of value, or what the current value is of the home. I love that idea of the rejected offer. Holy cow! There's nothing more. And are you doing that to them or for them? I've always found that when I have my confidence level goes up by a factor of 1,000% when I know I'm reaching out to do something for someone, not to them, or trying to do something for me. Like I'm anxious to share that. I've got something really good here that may or may not be right for you. If it's right for you, great. If it's not, I'm on to the next.
I've got some great news for you. Your home's gone up in value, and I have a buyer interested.
Right.
That's a great door knock, phone call, letter. Who doesn't like that?
Well, we've got to do these things if we're going to sit. You have 2 choices. Which one is not a good choice, but one is to just wait for more listings to show up and just put your buyer on ice and let that frustration and anxiety and stress build, or you take it. You get intentional with it. And show them that you are going to do everything you can to find them their perfect home, their dream home.
Well, and speaking of attention, let me throw 2 more out, because I love where you're taking this with the buyer. Again, we don't think enough from how a buyer can lead to listings.
Yeah.
Your buyer, that their offer gets turned down, let's look up every home that expired in the last 6 months in that area and give them a call.
Yeah.
See where they stand.
Absolutely.
The other one is, what kind of non-owner occupieds are in that property, in that region? Hook them up and give them, maybe they're tired of owning, especially in California. There's a lot of non-owner occupied owners that are moving their money out of the state. I don't necessarily like it, but I know it's happening. I have to recognize it.
Yeah.
Hey, have you thought about selling your home here where the market has gone up so high? I have a buyer looking.
Well, they've certainly been fatigued, many of them, because of the COVID restrictions, right? So they might be sliding backwards. They could be under a lot of financial stress, and yeah, I mean that those folks are out there. So yeah, love that.
So what about now? My idea, in my mind, when I think circle prospecting, that's more when you have the listing or someone on your team or in your office, and then we utilize that to generate more. Because you and I are so old school, but we say it all the time. If one sign goes up, 2 or 3 will follow.
It's just the way it's always been. Don't ask me why. I don't know how come. I think I do, but it's just the way it is what it is. It's just what happens. Yeah.
So that's a phenomenal opportunity. Before we even get into the opportunity, I think we shoot ourselves a foot a lot right now because the market's hot. We take a listing and we put it on the market. And I think you and I would agree, I think everyone on this call would agree, we have two responsibilities as agents. Number one, first and foremost, to do the best job for our client. The best offer in all the ways that matters. But your secondary goal, responsibility, is to generate more business. Putting that home on the market immediately, we could argue, doesn't satisfy either one of those goals. It's not necessarily in your client's best interest, unless it's what they say. I want it out there now. Because having 8 offers doesn't mean you have the best offer necessarily.
No. I love stats, and I run into this a lot where we talk about being able to leverage the listing that you have to get more buyers. And there's just, well, right now the market's just so hot. My sellers just want to go right to market and waste no time taking advantage of this craziness. And I understand the argument. I mean, I understand the emotion that is behind that. Look, we don't want to miss out on anything. Let's get right after it. But I thought it was interesting when we were on the national sales managers call, or no, it wasn't that. I sat in on one of the core courses. I think it was the 10 by 10 last week. And I think John Bielik threw out a stat, and forgive me if I don't get it exactly right, but it was something to the effect, he was talking about like the off markets or the coming soon, or no, it was the private exclusives. And they compared those sales to the actives. And did he not hear him correctly say that in tracking those numbers that the private exclusives were averaging 1.5% higher than the actives?
Yes.
Exactly. I heard it, right? Okay. Why is that? Right? I mean, we can fight this. I'd be the first one dragging my heels to this argument, right? Saying there's just no way you're going to get top dollar with, excluding it to the masses when you just exclude it or you show it to a few. But what do we know about buyers today? They will crawl on glass to get to a listing right now. They will crawl on glass to get to a listing. And if the seller says in that position of strength that they're in, look, if you want my home, I'm willing to sell it. This is my number. If you're willing to pay it, I'll accept this, and I won't go to the MLS. So they're leveraging that. The buyer is leveraging their peace of mind and time in that transaction. Look, I don't want to waste any more time losing out on 5 or 6 more homes. I'm willing to pay you a premium so I don't have to compete and get you in an auction. There is a modernity that's taken place, a mindset shift that some of us as professionals have been in the business a long time. We're resisting it, not the clients. We're resisting it. Oh, I don't think that's good. Well, the numbers say something different. If it is true that that scope of work produced a 1.5% increase, you can then have a conversation about how that strategy puts more money in their pocket, not about missing out or getting top dollar, by missing out on the market. You get top dollar by getting the buyer without interference to get you your number. I mean, that's what, right? I mean,
and we don't always have to know why something works.
Yeah.
If it works, just do it. Later we can write a documentary on why.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It's what's best for my client. It also leads, and he hinted at this, or he actually didn't hint at it. I think he mentioned a great dialogue you can have when you're sitting at the table. Most people look at a listing presentation as there's a commission involved.
Yeah.
This isn't a commission. This is an investment.
Right.
And here's how you'll get a return on the investment. We get 1.5% more just by doing private exclusive. Then we have our collections. Then we have our concierge. You'll end up, when you go with a Compass agent, getting a 2 to 3 times return on your investment in the agent. That's a hell of a sale.
I don't want to pivot down the stat alley, but here's one that I think maybe one of our episodes.
But you're going to anyway.
Well, just because it ties right into this, right? So there's a relationship between what the average commission rate is for a brokerage and what they get list to sell ratio, right? So right now, Compass is at 2.48%. So we're having one of the higher average commission rates out there. And we have the highest in our marketplace, in my neck of the woods, list to sell ratio by nearly 3.2% over the second place broker. And it gets worse from there last year. I need to know, you need to learn how to interpret that information and tell the seller that thinks that this is a really bad idea, paying you X, or maybe this strategy, right, isn't so great going private exclusive and I just want to go active, right? Is it more or less likely that when you go private exclusive, you're going to get a higher commission rate if you've negotiated the commission to be variable to, like, let's say 5%? And in your world, like, let's say you got a 5% commission and you're offering 2.5 and 2.5 and it's internal. I mean, do you know how many deals we probably did in that scenario that keeps our commission rate up and yet is netting the seller nearly 3.2% better than the number 2 company in the market, putting that money in their pocket? I mean, you could pay Realty XYZ, whatever you want to pay them, but isn't it really about what you net? This isn't about 1 or 2 deals, by the way, Mr. and Miss Wojciechowski. This is about 746 transactions that we've completed in North County that have produced this number. Isn't that so? This is the investment we're talking about. You're investing in my network. The power of Compass is not so much the brand itself, it's the network of people that make it up. And those interconnections that we have, those relationships with high-minded professionals that know how to work collaboratively.
I want to interrupt. I think it's a great way to defend and even increase the commission that we charge. But let's get back to giving them, generating new listings.
Yeah.
And by the way, Gail asked where you can find those numbers. Steve, for North County, you have those, right?
Yeah, I produce those. I do a weekly. I'll send it over to you, Gail. I'll send you the video that I did, and I can actually send you the actual numbers that I pulled from Trend Graphics for the calendar year 2021.
Liz has her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Gail's in Metro, so you may want to work with Sean to get some of those numbers out of Trend Graphics.
I am happy to help.
For Metro, yeah.
Thank you. We can generate them for all the main areas, and you guys will make them accessible, certainly. So let's go back to the circle prospecting now, right?
Yep.
If we have a little time to work on what we do, then we help our seller get not just more offers, but we're looking for a higher quality agent on the other side.
That's right.
Hopefully a Compass agent, a more solid offer. So what do? You can send out, the first thing that I would always send out is the seller letter. A letter from the seller saying, hey, loved living here. I'm moving on. I'm going to miss all of you. I put a lot of research into finding the right agent for this home in this neighborhood. And it's, Steve Salinas. If you have anybody that you know that wants to move into the area, call him now. And then a couple days later, they get what? A postcard or a letter from us. Hey, we got this home for sale. It's going to be fantastic. You have a great neighborhood if you have anybody. Then they spend a whole week getting open house invitations, the various things you can do for an open house or a mega open house, and I won't go into those. Then they get the escrow letter. We went into escrow. Then they get the seller letter again. We've closed. It was a wonderful experience. I'm looking forward to staying in touch with you guys. Then they get a letter. They get it from us 6 to 8 times in that mini farm. You will definitely generate another listing or two if you're going to be consistent like that throughout the course of your listing, if you have the time to do it, which is justified because you end up getting your seller more money and a cleaner transaction.
Yeah.
They serve us both.
Yep. You have nothing to add to that. I mean, that is, you nailed it. So, and I love all of those things. Every one of those tasks.
You reminded me of something that we were doing for a while that I want to remind everyone that could lead to listings. When you're calling, you talked about, when was the last time you heard from your insurance agent or your attorney?
Yeah.
A quick reminder, a great call right now to your database. Hey, I want to make sure your homeowner's insurance is fully covered. The value of your home has gone up dramatically. Congratulations. The cost of lumber has also gone up.
Yeah.
Make sure you call your insurance agent and see if your coverage is adequate to your home now. Talk about a service call.
Do that. I mean, do that, right? Like you did. We had an earthquake yesterday that I didn't feel, but 3.5 hit. I guess some people felt it around here. Call them about that. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Think
Doesn't
about
always have to feel like a sales call.
Earthquake insurance. It's so cheap. It's ridiculous, and it's something that I could put you in contact with, or I just want to make you aware of it. Your confidence, look, anytime you make a call like that, Sean, if this isn't about worrying about getting a yes or no, you're looking to help people. And every conversation you have creates the opportunity for you to get a referral. You get no, you're zero for forever if you don't have these conversations.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so precisely.
And you'll be surprised when you're calling your sphere how many say, wow, how much has my home gone up? And off we go. Here's an interesting conversation. Here's the equity you have. Is this your forever home? How's your home working out for you right now? Because with that equity, we could get you into a home.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to get into all the different dialogues. Well, I don't understand anything. There's ways to answer all of these. But it starts with making the call and generating the conversation.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean, you what you say? How was that? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So,
that's the old Gretzky, great Gretzky line.
Yeah. So one of the things I heard this in another list that you might want to try to aggregate is those folks that have been in a home for 5 to 7 years, right? We heard this concept of the 7-year itch. You would you would put all those folks into a basket and have a different type of approach to them. Listen, I realize we haven't touched base, or you have touched base, or I'm just checking in, whatever the lead in is, but you've been in your home 7 years. Property values have gone up considerably in that time. And I just wanted to provide you with this information such that you can make sure your insurance coverage is appropriate and yada yada. If you target those folks, what do you think the statistical chances are that one of them might lead to a lead faster than maybe folks that you just put them in a year ago? So put them into the home a year ago. So I mean, just thinking like that, giving you the best possible outcome.
Right. As you narrow down your target, your conversion goes up.
Yeah.
You just want to be thoughtful about it. Non-owner occupieds. One of my favorites is the have Title help you pull a list of homes that have been owned for over 15 years. I don't know if Title can pull 2-story anymore. We might have to have a different way to do that, but that's a target audience. 15 years and it's a 2-story. Most of the people living in those homes are tired of living in that home. You're going to get a much higher conversion targeting.
Yeah, kids are probably gone or they're near gone, and yeah. These are all things that line up in your favor. Yeah, one of the things I was going to bring up too, in my old office that I managed, the agents put this together, and it was the first time I had really seen agents work so collaboratively together, and that is to put their resources together to create a fund, a big pool of money, where they would give giveaways out this time of year that would help agents help their clients get access to cash that might help with taxes or add to their refund to go out and get something or take that vacation. But the agents would get together and they would all put in, let's say $500, $100, whatever the number was. And then each one of them would mail their database, creating an opportunity for them to reach out to them to register or to call to register to get this gift. You could do it on a smaller scale. You could, this time, as we head into spring, you could go out and raffle off a Weber grill. Go out and buy some, nice grill for $1,000 or thereabouts, and send that off to your database and have them reaching out to you to register. And now you're getting hundreds, maybe a couple hundred folks reaching out to you, where you can create that contact and then possibly get those leads that way, which I think is just, again, if you have apprehension about reaching out or making those cold calls or doing that door knocking around some of the ideas we've presented today, there are ways for you to do that or create a situation where these clients are reaching out to you, and you can still have that conversation by doing giveaways. I mean, some of the agents, I'm sure, have secured space at in the Padres suite. And doing a giveaway, get 4 free tickets to the Padres suite for this game coming up on whatever, and raffle that off, give it away, and watch your clients come back to you. So,
I like the idea too of what these are more generalized now, attracting people. I like the idea of video, right? We know we have to be using video to do that same thing. There's so many things right now. I think you guys get this sense now, but like, you're a big deal. There's got to be 8 television shows right now about real estate.
Yeah.
And most of them are big, it shows people in $10 million homes sipping martinis, and like that's how the business really works. But people are interested. Doing behind the scenes videos, doing videos of you out putting signs in. A quick video says, this is what it looks like when I have a listing. Evaluating, 15 offers at once late at night, all spread out on a conference table. Things like that not only show the behind the scenes that people are interested in, but they're videos that have to do with selling homes. And if you look at most of the videos we see out there, they're about buying homes. We're attracting buyers. So put up videos with content that would be interesting to someone who's considering selling their home.
Yeah. Or mix up. I see a lot of social media where more realtors today are doing more entertainment than they are creating anything of real value or anything that has a call to action embedded in the messaging. So I'd like to see the agents try to incorporate some of that. I love the entertainment component. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fun. It makes you attractive in terms of, hey, this is someone that could be fun to work with. They look like they have a great personality. That certainly has value. But I would certainly love to see more, content that has value and or creates this call to action. If I'm going to go into my social media sphere, I think every message should have something in it that is trying to get them to connect with you, as opposed to just pure entertainment, which I see a lot of today.
And that's, again, I see a lot of things, not a lot, but too often I see something go out with no call to action. You always want to have some, call me for more info, text this number to get your report, something to create an interaction.
Yeah.
Don't wait for them to understand that they're supposed to give business to you. Let them know.
Yeah. Cool. Any other ideas or suggestions from your side? I feel like I've been hogging the air here a little bit today.
I feel like we threw a lot out all at once.
Yeah.
They're out there.
Yeah.
I want to remind everybody, we keep talking about the inventory problem. It's not so much an inventory problem. It's a everything moves very quickly problem. So again, people like us who will go out and find the sellers before they're sellers, right? I find sellers before they're sellers. You adopt that attitude and start reaching out, then you're in control. And every single listing in this market will probably lead to at least one more closed transaction of a listing or a buyer. So we really need to bring our focus to that and elevate our business.
Yeah. I would just say my final comment on this is, if you do anything we've discussed today, I really hope you'll consider this circle marketing concept of an offer that hasn't been accepted, and you really take that to what Sean said. Bring a copy of the canceled contract or the declined contract, bring an unsolicited CMA, and keep it really simple, right? Like, I have buyers that feel that this plan is their dream home. They've identified your home, right? They've identified your home as the dream floor plan. Lost out on this. Have you even thought of? If you have, please contact me. Boom, and get out of there. Because that's what gets people, right? It's when we over disclose, oversell. People think then we're selling. Then they feel like they're being sold something. If you're quick about that message and you're just on trying to look, I got to run. I got to find another plan B around here. Right? Whoa. This is what you're going to experience. You're going to say, wait, tell me more about this. If you just try to get out of there quickly, it's like it's the old thing that Floyd Wickman used to teach me. He'd say, you know how to keep people in suspense, Steve? I'd say, no. He goes, I'll tell you later. Not me it's every time. So anyway, I hope people will take us up on that, because I think that will produce deals for you right now in this market. It absolutely.
There's no thinking, right? It will. 2 quick comments, Steve. Michelle pointed out that Eric Steinberg's email today has a topic of new inventory, so check that out. I assume we always do.
Yep.
And then Liz said today's message, she loves it. Stay in action mode to generate new business.
Yes.
It reminds me, a line I tell a lot of the agents I work with from probably goes back to the 40s. William Wrigley, owner of Wrigley Gum and Wrigley Field, the Chicago Tribune, and he owned everything in Chicago.
Yeah.
And he still had billboards. He still had advertising. And he was asked by a reporter, why do you keep spending money on this stuff? And he said, for the same reason the pilot keeps the engines on when he's airborne. No matter how much business you have to spend time every single day in action, making sure you have business 4 months from now.
You're investing in their mind. Yeah.